What do you do on New Year's Eve? I don't know. You drive the Plum Crazy and take 2 puppies with you. How about that, huh? Hey, I haven't driven this car in ages. When was the last time I drove the Plum Crazy? Probably before I went crazy. I don't know. Anyways, this thing's so... The kid brought it home empty. So I don't even know how far I can get. Gas. So I'm going to go down to the local store, put some gas in it, but this thing needs to be driven. It just hasn't been driven so long, but I'd really rather be driving my Mustang Whipple horse, but this thing needs fuel, and it just isn't good to let a car with a tank about empty sit for a long time, because what happens is, as you know, a lot of condensation and moisture can build up in the tank. So I'm going to go get some fuel in the Plum Crazy and take the dogs for a little ride. And let's see here. Did I get it? Nope, didn't get it. So it's just all my cars, everything I have. I just track of what device, what works, what doesn't. Do the puppies behave and not destroy the interior of my nice Plum Crazy Dodge Charger that I bought over a year ago? And waiting for the kid driving this. Really, the kid has driven this more than anybody else. Let's see here. What do we got going on here? Ah, geez. The mailman already crushes everything. All right, so as we rock and roll down the road in the Plum Crazy Dodge Charger Scat Pack, which this is a 2023, and this is the Super B Edition. So this is the Super B Edition, which it's just really about the stickers. It's just more about the decor on it versus being its ultimate performance vehicle, being that it does have the track tires and wheels. So that's pretty cool. And then it has the wide body package, which I really like that a lot. But it has the 6.4 392 motor with like 485 horsepower and like 450 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. I mean, I can't give you all the exact numbers, but within that range. And so I'm surprised they didn't make this thing like a 550 or 600 horsepower car, just to kind of update the motor and give you some more fun time and flair. And they've ridden off this 6.4 Hemi 392 motor now for, I'd have to say, 10 plus years. But it's a good, reliable motor, but you can't do much to it because the design of the piston head doesn't disperse the heat properly. If you want to put like a supercharger on here, you'll blow up the motor. You'll take out a piston. You can do a Pro Charger on it. You can get away with probably going from 485 to 550, 600 maybe, but you gotta be really careful. You probably just didn't rag the hell out of it, but if you rag the hell out of it, you're gonna have problems because the heat on the piston's not gonna disperse correctly, and eventually the piston just end up blowing the piston out. So here I am at my local gas station. I already know up there in Leesburg, if I go to the Costco store, I'm gonna buy fuel for probably 50 cents a gallon cheaper. Because if it's a premium here, it's like $3.55, $4. Let's see what it is. It's $4. So I'll just put the mid-grade in this thing for right now, just because I'm being cheap ass. Yeah, it's gonna be a cheap ass. All right, so here we are, 2023 Dodge Charger wide body. See this down here? That's the adaptive cruise control, which I wish my Hellcat had that, but because of the intercooler on the Hellcats, there's not enough room down there to do that without getting expensive. But it's a really good looking car. I like the track tires, and this car is one of the few cars that's been built that has all 4 tires and wheels that are the same size from the front to the back. Now, the Camaro Z28 is one of the other cars that has that, but most cars have a big tire in the back and a smaller tire in the rear. And then, as you can see, it's the Plum Crazy theme. Now, mac and cheese, we gutted out the exhaust. We put actually a bigger exhaust tailpipe on it, and it's got the nice performance spoiler on it, and it has the Super B aesthetics. And that's really the thing. The Super B is more about just the theme. It has the hood pins. It's really like that. It has the Super B logo in the interior. It has the hood vents. It has, see here, the suede and leather seats, and then it has the typical Mopar kind of boring dash, if you know what I mean by that. So that's really what this car is all about. It's more just the appearance than the performance on it. So here, so I just put in 89 octane, which ought to be fine. Man, I have so many freaking cars and devices. It drives you nuts. And since I got a new car, this is not paired. There it is. Pair it. Yes, pair it. Get this thing all. So I can listen to my music. So I can listen to my Bluetooth music. Yep, do that there. And gotcha. Okay, so now I can get my music going. All right, so now we're gonna get up the road here and take a little ride. Got fuel, gotta go to the post office, gotta go to the bank. Let's see, New Year's Eve. Tasks and projects, may have to run up the road and take care of some business. We shall see. The project isn't over yet, it just doesn't end. Inserts on the leather. But the Dodge has been really called out so many times because of it's just kind of a lame dash. It just doesn't give you that excitement, if you kind of know what I mean. And let's see here, get the music going, and it figures Bluetooth. There it goes, we got it. All right, let's get out of this parking lot. It's torn up to hell. Now, one thing about these Mopar products, and even Ford, if you don't put these things in the performance side, you just don't get that as much fun out of these vehicles. But it's interesting, the other day, a guy was claiming that in my Hellcat Gold Rush Red Eye, that I was in the 500 horsepower black key mode over the red key mode, but that wasn't accurate. So he was saying that since the car wasn't in the performance pages, that I wasn't getting all the power. I don't know about that. I'm not really sure on that. I have looked into that. You can go to your screen on your SRT, and if you go down here and go to your drive modes, and then this gives you an option to set up the vehicle to become a whole different animal. And so I was in the regular mode, and he was saying that since I was in regular mode, I wasn't getting that all-out performance. So you go to the sports side, that takes out the deactivation of the 8-cylinder motor going to 6 or 4, whatever it does, and it gives it a much quicker shifting, and it stiffens up the suspension, I guess. I think it does on that aspect as well. So now we're in a sport mode, but the thing is, in a sport mode, what happens is your traction control comes off, and if you're not smart, you better turn it back on. So you got to get, that will really hurt you in the end if you keep that traction control off, because the car will bust loose and go sideways on you. With traction control on, that's not going to happen. And so once again, I'll be curious next time I drive that Red Eye Challenger Gold Rush, if in fact that you don't see the 797 or 808, whatever it is, horsepower when you get into it, because it will show you that on your screen here of how much horsepower you're getting out of the car, which is pretty cool. So once again, we're in track mode, but what happens to that is it becomes a little bit more aggressive, and it's stuck like in 6th gear instead of being like in 7th gear, because it just doesn't go to that overdrive. So it kind of cuts down your fuel economy. But let's look at the fuel economy and see here. Oh, we got 37% oil life. Wow. So what was the last time? We got it in May. So let's see here. Fuel, 16.4, but that's not accurate. This car would do every bit of 20 plus miles per gallon. But you know what? With these type of tires on this car, actually, I could be kidding myself, because it is a much more bigger, aggressive tire. So I don't know. I just haven't been in this car enough to really, it's just incredible how the Dodge Charger really has been one of my more favorite fun cars, because it's so much more user-friendly. You can bring your family with you, you can bring your dogs with you. It has a lot more room and it has just every bit as much power as the Challenger, whether you get the Hellcat or the non-Hellcat, the way the motor's set up and everything. So it's every bit of the Challenger, only it's bigger. So track-wise, very much more debatable. But it's more about the Challenger. It's all about the look, the theme. People cater more to the Dodge Challenger from the early 70s retro look. The Charger has nothing to... This Charger has nothing even close to looking like the 1960s and 70s car of the Charger. But the Dodge Challenger does. You got to wonder, too, why Mopar or Dodge didn't ever try to accomplish that, which I don't know. I'm not real sure on that answer. But the Dodge Charger's been around a lot longer than the Challenger because they stopped making the Challenger back in the like 74 or 75, but then they brought back the Charger throughout the years. And they brought back the Challenger as well, but it was just a Mitsubishi car in disguise. It was kind of an insult to the Dodge Challenger product. So it really wasn't, I think, until the 90s that the four-door Charger kind of came back, I think. And I'm not real clear, I'm not real positive on that, but I know my first Dodge Charger was back like in 2005 or 6, the SRT package, which back then, that wasn't the 6.4 motor. I think it was the 6.2 motor, if I remember right. If I can't even... I think the power back then was like 420, maybe 440, I think, which was pretty stout back in the 2005, 6. To have a 400 plus horsepower car was pretty impressive. 500 horsepower, very impressive. Today, 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower, it's like, yeah, whip-de-doo-dah, not much. Now you got to be 1,000 horsepower club to have you think, oh, wow, you got something. All right, let's get up to, on a beautiful Tuesday, New Year's Eve day. Coming into the old Leesburg town here, and they've decorated it for the holidays. Hard to believe that the holidays are already pretty much come to an end. Isn't it incredible? It's hard to believe, to think that Christmas has come and gone, and now we have New Year's tomorrow, and then the shebang is done. Then it's back to the grind, which is just incredible. And it's a heavy traffic to get over to the other side of town, which I'm going to the post office. Oh boy. Okay, got the post office, in which that was a lot quieter than a week ago or so. Crazy, man. Post office cracks me up on how they think the post office should go out of business, which it should, because the government tries to regulate it, and there you go. Will the Department of Government Efficiency, will they do any better? Be very interesting to see on that. All right, here we come up on Dulles Dodge. As I drive by Dulles Dodge. And I'm going to go to the car wash, because I spend, ooh, that guy was close, because I spend a monthly fee here to get my car cleaned. Forget that, they're swamped. Screw that. That'll be a 30-minute project. Yeah, I have the monthly subscription of like 2 or 3 different accounts. Yeah, do I actually use them? I do, but I use them a lot. Not really. So here's future Kia Dulles. It's interesting how Hyundai and Kia are just really doing incredible. And now it's time to go to the bank. Aw, what's going on, buddy, huh? Interesting here on how I'm cruising around town, and the fuel economy really isn't that great. I mean, I'm kind of stumped. But you keep in mind, I'm in the city, but highway, these things usually get a good 20, 22 miles per gallon. I just haven't driven his car. It's hard to believe that Julia drove his car down this past like January, if I remember right. Oh, here we got a phone call. All right, onto the main road here, which not sure you can get yourself in trouble in these cars. And these cars are fast. I mean, thing is, budget your money. The 392 package is a lot of fun. I mean, just you hear this car. Yeah, my fuel economy's gonna go down the toilet in that, isn't it? Yeah, so can you get yourself in trouble? You can. And it's a fast car, but it isn't like snap your neck. This doesn't give you like a snap your neck type of feel like you get like out of the Hellcats. But it's nice. I think I'll do a pit stop because my little boy here is really crying. I think he's out of the bathroom. So I'm gonna come up here, get off the road, and try to help the little boy out. Aw. Alright, I'm gonna check things out for you, buddy. Let me get off up here for you. Well, I don't know what that was all about. You know, Diesel was just crying like he had to go pee or something. You know, usually they're in my trucks, so if they pee in the back on the floor, I'm not really that worried about it because it's a rubber mat back there. But here, yeah, that would be like gross. But here he goes. This is so weird that he doesn't cry in the trucks, but he's crying in the car. I wonder what that's all about. He's a truck riding dog, I guess. Which I think, you know, is it because they enjoy the flat surface of that truck over the well, howdy doody, right? So this morning, the gentleman that came and delivered the firewood, this is where he comes from, the Hamilton Milling operation. I bet you that place is 100 years old. Could be wrong, but I'd be willing to bet it's been around since early 1900s, and that's the Rogers family that owns that. And interestingly enough, Joe Rogers Sr., Joe Rogers Jr. is probably a little older than me, but the father was a well-known veterinarian doctor, and I believe he was a vet doctor, or maybe he was a doctor. I just can't remember on that aspect. But the real story is that back during the Civil War, a lot of these flour mills went bust. And the Roger family, after the Civil War, they had the stash of money where they went and bought up a lot of these old closed flour mills and resurrected them, and they made their fortune off of getting flour mills for little to nothing. And one of the flour mills they used to own was the one in Georgetown, D.C. If you ever were down in D.C. back in the prior to the, I have to say, mid-90s, early 90s, I think that flour mill was down there up and through the 80s and early 90s. And then, of course, it was torn down to have work. But it's right there on the waterfront in Georgetown. So that's just a little story of who the Rogers family is and how their wealth. And they were very well known in the horse community. They lived in Middleburg. And, yeah, they've got a lot of money. I think the wife passed here just a few years ago. I think that Joe Sr. died probably, I'd say maybe like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I just can't keep track of time. But they got a great operation there, and anybody that's on local here can see, get a nice thing of firewood delivered. I mean, it's not, they don't give it away. That was basically a cord of wood delivered for like $360. So I'm sure people could probably find it cheaper and better, but whatever. And here, my favorite John Deere dealer up here on the right, my good old buddy, is looking for me. He's like, where the heck have you been? I'm like, yeah, I've been traveling, taking care of a lot of things. And I'm going to go back to the car wash that I went to yesterday And it's a little different setup, but in all reality, it works for me. All right, let's see how this location is today. It's interesting. This is a major corporation that has a gazillion locations, and I see the different employees from one store to another. So the left side is the full service. So after you get your car cleaned, they vacuum and clean it all out. The right side is to get to the actual car wash area. So here, so I'm 2 cars deep. Back at our place, I was like 20. So here, probably be a good 5-minute stop, if not 10. Other locations been 20 or 30. What's neat about this one here is it's on a mat, so it pulls you through. And what's interesting also here is they don't do the tire shine on here, but at the other place they do. Tire shine, it's mixed because they don't really do a great job, especially with the big tires, and it just splatters all down the side of your truck. So, and it used to be an operation that owned this store, car wash, and they owned the one there in Leesburg as well, but they sold out to Flagship and made their million. They made their millions many times over, but then they sold out for millions. Wow. I always wanted a car wash, and if I ever really would have fixated on it and thought about it and really just focused on it, I could have pulled it off, but I just was too much the guy having fun doing what I was doing and blah blah blah, and having too much fun with my car addictions and everything else, and I had a much easier lifestyle. I didn't have to babysit people all day long. These type of places, you're constantly challenged of hiring people to help run them. Yeah, it's never ending. It's a big challenge in these businesses that require hands-on work. And a Plum Crazy day. This is interesting. Usually there's somebody here to get you going. And today, not so much. I wonder what that's all about. I don't know what the little stinker's doing. Chilling out, thank goodness. Wow. Is this free car wash day? I think it matters, because I pay a monthly subscription, but they didn't ask me anything. And the guy ahead of me, I didn't see him do anything. So is this the New Year's Eve present to all the car wash people? But there's not enough help here. This guy just like, screw it. Got me. As we go through, and some people are like, no way would I take my Dodge Charger Super B Scat Pack to the car wash, as all the brushes are going to scratch all the paint. Yeah, whatever. Okay. No sunroof on this. I've had so many Dodge Chargers. How many between the Challengers and Chargers? I wonder how many I've had. I bet you I've had 20. I know I'm up to 6 Hellcats. And then you take out the Hellcats, you take out the Chargers I bought. I'd say conservative 12 of the newer Chargers and Challengers. Yep, like I say, see it. The other location, that guy there, he does a lot of times the tire shine. And at this location, all they do is just wipe the car down, and they don't do anything on the tires, which is interesting. And I can tell they're short. The towels are all soaked. doesn't have any new towels. Some, it's New Year's Eve. Charlotte be like, I ain't coming in today or tomorrow. He's gonna be like, you're good. All right, buddy, thank you. This thing definitely has the gurgle and pop downshifting, which that's nice. That's just kind of nice being in sport mode, is it gives you a little bit more of that aggressive type of downshifting. Look at this, fuel mileage is terrible. Does it improve up on the road?